Chili here with Sirius Dallas Moon, and since there is a plan to double the population up to 2036, I want to be up to date, and I've already begun to look for orgasmic birthing compatible housing. Let's see what the ministries will answer. So I want to, because it's a global plan. This is Venus hour. Venus is 23 degrees Gemini. Here in the 10th house. Oh, the midheaven next to my Rahu. And Mercury, 21 degrees Taurus. So, I'm here in Israel in a shop called. Wait a second. Oh God, Shilav. And in Shilav, I'm looking for the first thing that the newborn would need, which is clothing. And just clothing, I was looking at kind of like an overall, and it cost 169.90 shekels, which in euros and dollars is per one set. So let's say 169.90 ILS $2, and that is about $58. So we're talking about. I don't know about you, but I would not have children if I don't have at least like 10 of these. Because even in places like Netherlands, where there is basically a lady that comes to assist with the baby, and I know in China as well. In Israel, I don't think they have. They do have IVF support, but like I said, people that go for IVF find a way to make sure that they don't tell you that there are, let's say, I don't know, 7 fetuses, and then there would be 14. Because of unregistered birth, ritual abuse, blah, blah, blah. But let's think positive. So in let's say 10 like this would be $580 or around $590. So $590 in euro. It would cost 49.97 euros. Let's say 50 euros, and that would be 500 euros for 10 of these. Again, if a woman is giving birth, and I think at least 10 is normal. If you have had births, then you can tell me maybe more, maybe less, and this would be around. I was thinking my birth was about between 4 and 5 kilos. People that have, let's take a look at, let's say 2.5 kilos, is less 10 shekels less, which would be about $2 to $3 less, or €2 to €3 less. So I don't think that the weight of the baby should be a factor in the pricing. Perhaps, but this is already something to think about. So let's say 500 euros for um, 500 euros for let's say 10 of these, and that would be for months. I don't know. I never looked at it because I never believed that I would be able to afford, let's say, having a baby. And I see Disney here, which is a problem because Disney is associated with MK Ultra and ritual abuse in its training for singers and actors and celebrities program. And this would already tell me that there's an issue with the ethical sourcing of the clothing. Although the shop is Shilav, I don't know Shilav regarding the ethical sourcing. And as per the textile is 100% cotton. Again, I don't know where is it. The other one was not with Disney, but the price is the same price. So there's an option to opt for something that's not Disney, and that's about the pricing. So this is kind of like the first thing that I look at. I don't know for how long would that, because babies tend to grow quite fast. But this is so much, 500 euros. Now let's take a look at stuff that are fit to the first stage of babyhood. Kind of like the starter kit. And a lot of cute stuff. Oh, there is the wagons, which is supposed to be comfortable and supposed to be something accessible. As per the housing is in itself an issue. Most people have new housing when they have a baby. So wagons, I don't even know what would look on. I mean, definitely something that is good for the height. And the prices here range as Novo, which I don't know anything about these companies, Yellow, Valios. Okay. I like it that they have also dark colors, but dark color for the baby could be problematic in warm climate like this country. And at any case, at the colder climates, they would have more the color palette that they do have here, by the way, which is the gray, the light brown. For those, already go to the 700, 490. What is the difference? I don't know. Oh, one is possible. Oh, it's double. So if people have twins, which means twins would be double the price, and particularly if women are having birth around their 40s, there is more likely to have duplicities. Other thing can be 8th house Gemini or 6th house Gemini, or Mercury in those houses, or IC in Gemini. I do have some of the one of those placements, so that's another thing to consider, as they come into, and that would make it €1,000 for just the clothing. For the wagons, I find it problematic that it is one floor upon the other, because one can see the baby and then you turn your head and Mark the True takes the baby from not now, he's old, he's in prison and so on, tired. But there are young people. So I have yet found a wagon here that is good for more than one baby. But let's take a look at the pricing, and something that looks normal and is in good height. If you are Dutch, you might even need a little higher. And so this would be, let's say 400 shekels, 4,000 shekels, $2, and this would be $1,377. Again, wagon, I think, is not something to compromise on. Can the people take used wagons and so on? Well, I don't know if it is okay energetically to do so. I don't think it's impossible, but I don't know if it's okay energetically to do so. Of course, I'm not supporting, and this brings another question: do they have something compostable? Well, there are wagons for twins here, and this would be around 5,000. And this would be around $1,700 and $1,721 or $1,723. Um, so this thing would probably go. I don't know if it's like changing for the size of the babies, but that looks normal. I think I have no idea. Never had twins before. So those are the prices, and if we add, let's say, another $1,000 in euros, this would be and then people would ask, what is average salary? Well, I don't think we are in a working sector that can allow to rely on that. Because there are great changes, also great changes to the currency, but it doesn't look like the working sector is anyway compatible with orgasmic birthing or the housing sector. There's a lovely thing here that's not too costly, and this is a portable fan for the wagon, and that would be around 90 shekels. For me, it's like I immediately look at this. But in the summer in Israel, I think it's nearly impossible because the warm hours are warm. It's not Qatar, but not too far either, particularly in the south. In the south, it's hotter but less humid. Then there are, for people that have cars. I know that there is a plan to go cities without cars and so on, but I have already become exhausted. Not because of the price, just to walk and to kind of check at these things. For me right now, I would already need to, let's say, sit somewhere and or sushi somewhere, which currently I don't have in my budget, as I'm healing from with all these things that I talk about in other videos. And also, by the way, I'm not in a position where I can say, oh, donate me money, because it would take accountants, and the transition from, let's say, being on something like food stamps to actually having to manage this myself, and the question of what if I would need to go through the process again is already something that is beyond exhausting. My entry to being supported was something was on the verge of death. So, so this is a transition. Of course, I'm looking at my chart and transition in life and so on and so forth. But also the world is going through major transitions. These were like really the basics. Most of the games I see here like begin at 2 years. That much of lack of awareness I have about this topic, that seemed like, oh, that's for like rich people or but even if the state is not compatible with its laws to grow in life, whether it's in accountants, where the wealth of the couple is written together, which is and divorces are really draining on both partners, which is, for example, if I hear people talk about these topics in Iceland, then they're way more acceptable for people to live in their own. I know housing crisis there is terrible, but for people to have kind of like, if they like to be together after a child, they'll be together. If not, like it's something way more acceptable and normal, and people adjust, I believe, also the legislation. So far, is Israel compatible for having babies? I wouldn't say so. I'm not saying it cannot change, but also I wouldn't say so. And a lot of people tell me, oh, I support genocide and so on. It's related to the same topic because a country that does not support life, of course, will be more desensitized when its military strategy does not support life, at the very least. And that is true to any country. For example, growing countries like Palestine might also want to attune to this global plan to double the population by 2. And wonder, is their religion, is their culture compatible with orgasmic birthing? That is one of the really supportive factors. Even if the birthing will be difficult or something like that, at least the things that could make it even more terrible can be resolved, can be removed from the equation. And those are things that, for me, for example, I was not even aware that they were a part of the things that were biasing my decision towards whether to have children or not to have children. Because I was thinking financially and I was thinking emotionally and psychologically. And I know, of course, for people of 2 countries, the child usually remains, unless it's placed Israel, they tend to cast away people, which is also terrible. But let's say in Netherlands, the child is born in Netherlands, they stay in Netherlands. At least up until now, it was so. And this is because it's very difficult for the country to defend a child that exited the roads of the country. It requires already the embassies, international court of justice that right now is in The Hague, but this is something also to keep in mind for couples that have more than one origin country or residence country. And so, in regards of atmosphere, if I go outside, I need to be around the shopping mall for there to be a bathroom. I know in Netherlands they changed this. It was about, I think, the Ministry of Off-Route that is now in NATO. And it's very important for there to be wc, to be a bathroom, to be water that are accessible. And this is something that makes the environment compatible. For example, I was at the mall, Negev Mall, beautiful mall, Azrieli Group. About the temperature, I was thinking about this. To the infants, it might be compatible. But to a pregnant mom or to a veteran, Palestinians should really listen, because a lot of them, those that survived, now have veterans and have people that are with post-trauma. And they would need the temperature to be compatible, and usually colder temperature. But in the warm season and in the cold season, they need compatible temperature as well. Because in trauma, the nervous system is overflown, and the temperature, regulating also the temperature, is becoming difficult. In pregnancy, of course, there's another life there. so the outside needs to assist. In Finland, of course, in the cold seasons, they don't have these problems. But in warmer countries, Texas or Middle East, and it's important for people to have access to the temperature that regulates the nervous system when it comes to their housing, when it comes to where they go to buy the shoppings that they actually need. Or where they study or where they work. And also for people that, let's say, suffer from, let's say, cold, then for them to have accessible to warm clothing. And this is not just pregnant women, it's also people that have post-trauma or veterans and need assistance to regulate the nervous system. Also when it comes to food, I know the old, omega-3 that is like the fish oil. So the sprouts and so on and so forth. Um, I'm not saying it cannot be like vegan options. I just don't know too much how to regulate the nervous system after trauma, or without, let's say, eating the sprouts or the things with the niacin that regulate the nervous system. Today, for example, I found myself eating a salad with sardines. And kind of like good thing, bad thing, who knows, but this is the best I could come to have both nourishment and some people maybe manage to meet that with vegan. Maybe when I dissolve the fungi it would be possible, but I don't know. Right now, it seems difficult. So, this is so far my thoughts, yes, about this topic. And I will be continuing to hang around here. And you can tell me in your country, is it compatible with the plan to double the population by 2036?